Let's talk about
really.
your schooling and your tennis career, because I mean, you were a professional athlete at one point too, practically, right?
Yeah, I was. So I'd been very good as a junior. Like I was North of England champion, got to play at Wimbledon with Tim Henman and things like this. And then I got really ill. And this is one of the things I want to talk about as part of like, it was not dealing with other things, the stress and stuff that had happened that caused me to get ill. I was out of school for like 18 months, fell behind massively, all this rubbish. And when I was 16, I was like, no, screw it. I'm going after my dreams, playing to win. So even though I was good academically, I moved to Barcelona, went to a tennis academy, made it to the professional circuit, never got that high because it's just tough with finances and other stuff. But I was starting to play tournaments, made main draw a few times. And then I destroyed this ankle, so went off to university in America. So first in Florida and then University of South Carolina, #1 international business school.
Did that completely terminate your career as a professional athlete?
No, it did. Well, when I transferred schools, the coach was retiring. It's a bit of a long story, but basically, I had a decision at a certain point. The NCAA said I was ineligible for my last season, so I had to like decide of whether, okay, do I just try and finish my degree or do I try and go back on tour after still being a bit injured and all this other stuff? And one day I was just like, okay, no, it's time for the next chapter. This is kind of done at this point, which was a really tough time. So I know some men like struggle with like vision and purpose and other stuff. I was on a call today with one of the community members, and that was a time where for like 15 years of my life, my whole vision was tennis player, tennis player, tennis player. And losing that was like such a tough, like depressing time. And it ended up breaking up a long distance relationship, which again, thank goodness, because it's not really a relationship, as you say, but it all just came tumbling down when that happened.
Got it. And how old were you when you switched gears from, professional tennis to going back to school?
When I got injured, when I was on the professional circuit, I went and got a scholarship. And so I was still playing tennis for a few years after that. It was only my last year when I was about 23, because I was a year delayed going into a university, but I got through it quite quickly. So I'll have been about 23 when it was like my last year and okay, we've got to find a different path in life.
Yeah, it's interesting because, your plan A was professional tennis player. And I remember when I was about 19, I think my plan A at the time was to be a RAF fighter pilot in Harrier jump jets because it was shortly after the Falkland War had ended. And, I went to go and apply and it's like, no, you're too tall and you can't fit in the cockpit. So sorry, we can't have you. But if you want to be a grunt and run around with a gun and, dodge bullets, you can do that. So that was a pass for me and I had to go on to plan B, but it was a bit of a blow to the head. I mean, like, when you have these life-changing events, I think that one of the skills that guys need to learn and need to learn as soon as and early as possible, even, is how to pivot and adapt when the course changes for you, when the ebbs and flow kind of move, because that's what life is. I was actually thinking about it this morning because I usually go for a stroll through this wooded area in the morning just to kind of clear my mind. And some people will sit around and meditate. For me, that 2-kilometer stroll is kind of like my meditation. I was thinking about how life just continuously throws things at you. It's like, the seasons will change. It's icy one day, so it's slippery as hell and I'm almost wiping out. And the next day it's like wet and the snow's kind of melting. So I always find it's interesting to hear other guys' story when life throws a curveball and they're like, all right, plan A's dead. Let's beat it with a stick behind the bar and bury it 6 feet under and call it a day. We've got to figure out the next thing. So how did you move on to the next thing? Like, what was the strategy after that? Was it like the corporate job? What did you want to do from there?
It was cry and feel sorry for myself and play a lot of online chess to try and keep that competitive spirit up. I noticed in some of your videos the chessboard behind you. I'm like, yeah, I can't go near online chess. I'm so addicted to it because it brings back all those memories of like, I need to beat something and do something here.
Compete.
But basically,
you're a competitor, right?
Yeah, definitely a competitor. Yeah. It's just such a drive for so many guys. Even in a mastermind I joined recently, I messaged the main guy and I said, we should create a little side pool where everyone competes for like their entry of who gets the best results and stuff like that. So I thrive on competition. But the way I dug myself out is I was already doing lots of stuff anyway. Started a student-run hedge fund and other things and got to meet Warren Buffett because of that, which was pretty cool. And ask him a couple of questions. But the I knew I was going to try and get like a job in either investment banking or wealth management or something, even though I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'd come from single mum household, but she'd been an entrepreneur and built her businesses. Same with my dad when he was around for the first few years. He was an electrical contractor on like massive ships. And so I'd always seen that like freedom side of things, or what should be freedom. If you set it up properly. And so I thought maybe if I know the guys with the money, later I'll be able to get into that. But all my network was in America. And so even though Merrill Lynch and these other companies wanted to hire me, there's just no visa that they could give me. So I came back to the UK with my tail kind of between my legs and had to start again in November, which is a terrible time to look for a job.
Got it.